Welcome everybody, this is Kokorin TCG, and for my first YouTube video, I will be going over my Gold Paladins deck list. As a precursor before I get started, I just want to say that for every single deck showcase video that I do, I will always have the deck list on the right side of the screen, just for everyone's convenience during the game or before I start playing my games. So let's begin. I really like Gold Paladins. It's really fun, but I do find that it's very luck based, and it's kind of unfortunate because Zero is already a very luck based game, and so I feel like the weakness of this deck is if you just don't hit your Azel, you just instantly lose, which is never a good thing. And for a while I was playing the Criff starter, but I found that while Criff was good, it didn't really do much for me, and I decided to switch over to Spring Breeze Messenger, which for those who don't know what this card does, it's basically when it boosts an attack that hits a Vanguard, I can counterblast one, look at the top 3 cards of my deck, and then call one. So what this can do is, before I write Azel, I can get an early Pelennor crit, or late game pushing for game, I can use it to get Pelennor to win the game, or even I can use it to find boosters or help build other columns to get off third attacks early game, mid game, late game. So I feel like it's a very flexible card. And I found that half the time when I was using Criff, I didn't actually get to use the skill. So I find that Spring Breeze Messenger is a much more consistent way to play and allows you to put other cards in your deck. So in the grade 1s, I have 4 PGs, I play 3 Gareth, and I only play 1 Dindrain, I play 2 Self-Damagers, and then I play 3 of this grade 1, Sagramore. And I really like this because this allows me to ditch, like, let's say I draw into one of my heals, which I have heals on my Garmore. It allows me to ditch those cards that I don't need, or I don't need a Self-Damager, like a grade 1 Self-Damager. I can ditch it and hopefully draw into PGs or draw into more pieces. And it allows me to continue to play the 9 crit, and then I only play 1 Dindrain because Dindrain's kind of inconsistent, and I really wanted more consistency with Gold Paladins, and I feel like the 1 Dindrain is good enough, and if you do hit it, good on you, but I feel like Sagramore was a much more consistent draw engine. And then I play 2 of the Self-Damagers just because people will damage deny you. I don't like playing the grade 1 Self-Damager, but you have to run the grade 1 Self-Damager. In the grade 2s, I only play 2 Vivian, 3 Lop-Ear Shooter, 3 Trip, 3 Balmain, and then I play 2 of the Self-Damagers. I guess something to highlight from the grade 2s is that I only play 2 Vivian, while in a Criff build, I might play more Vivian. And the reason why I play less Vivian is because you have the Spring Breeze Messenger, which is another counterblast that you're going to have to commit early game. And so, unlike my Criff build where I'm playing 3 Vivian, I found that playing 2 Vivian works perfectly fine. And then I play 3 Lop-Ear Shooter. You don't need 3, you can honestly play 2. But I feel like with 3, while you may draw it sometimes, you always hit it when you need to off of like your Azel skill or your Spring Breeze Messenger. So it makes it really easy to hit, and it's really helpful at building columns without using Counterblast. I guess the hardest part about playing Spring Breeze Messenger is that there's so much Counterblast being used, is that you need to know when to use your Counterblast. And secondly, playing the trips also allows you more freedom to use your Counterblast when you want to use your Counterblast. And because we're not playing Criff, this is why I'm only playing 3 Gareth and 3 Balmain, which is what, even though I do like 8Ks and 10K vanillas, there's just too much to run in the deck, and you can commit those slots to more important cards like Lop-Ears and Trips, which I found really hard to do in the Criff build. And then for the grade 3s, I have 4 Azel. I only have 2 Pelennor right now. I have to wait a couple of days to craft the 3rd. And then 4 Garmore, and then I'm playing 3 of the Holy Mage. Now the Holy Mage, it's really preference on which offensive grade 3 you choose to play for your rear column. I like this because this deck allows you to build columns really easily and rebuild your board really fast. So I don't really struggle to find boosters for this, and I think it hits great numbers. I play Garmore on heal because you don't really need Garmore, And there's kind of two mindsets when using heal triggers. There's the mindset of, I want to put heals on something important, and then if I don't need it, I can just use it as a heal, or I want to put a heal on something that isn't important, and then if it gets used, it's fine. I really like the fact that you don't really have to ride the Garmor, and if you draw into it, it's not really bad, especially if you're missing Azel. But as a heal, I think it works much better than a booster or your Palinor, which you want to be playing. The Garmor you don't really want to be playing, and so that's why I've chosen to put that on the heal. And then for Azel, in my Criff build, I was playing 3 for a while, and I felt that that was really consistent and gave me a lot of flexibility in the grade 3 slot. But with Spring Breeze Messenger, I feel like you have to play for Azel just because you don't have you can't turbo into your Azel. You can't instant search it from the deck, so you have to kind of high roll draw into it. So this is the list, and I'll probably play one game. If I still have enough time to play a second, I will play a second. I actually haven't played rank at all this season, so this should be pretty interesting. Of course, if I run into VV farmers, then I'll skip to another game. But let's hope that I get something good off the bat. I really like this list. I think that Criff and Spring Breeze is definitely a preference over one being objectively better. I think that they both target 2 different playstyles. And so, depending on how you really want to play your Gold Paladins, will decide, or what you drew, that's what's going to decide if you choose to play Criff or Spring Breeze. Ooh, this view. So, from my hand, I only want to put back the Garmor, just, I don't need it, and I get a Bomb Mains off of it, which is really good. And so, there's a couple of things I can do here. It's Narukami, and I don't want them to get rid of the Spring Breeze Messenger, but it's probably already going to happen, and I'd rather push damage in the future, so the thing is, Gold is a limit break deck, so you want to be pushing damage as much as possible, or else it's going to hurt you in the long run, because people will damage deny you, and they will slow you down a lot. But I think because Gold isn't in a very good position to damage deny, I'm going to play the Sagramore, and I'm going to attack and try to filter a little bit. I hit a Vivian. He hits a draw trigger. So this player's probably very lucky this game. I'm going to get rid of the Sagramore. I won't have boosters, but never mind. I spoke too soon. And if they get rid of the Spring Breeze, that's fine. I feel like in this matchup with Spring Breeze, you kind of just let the Spring Breeze go. But if you're playing the Criff, then you have to like not attack them, especially if you're going to hit your Criff turn. And they play their grade 2 self-damager, which means I definitely should be pushing damage. Okay, they get another draw trigger. There goes their Dungaree. Might lose a self-damager here, which is gonna hurt me later. Yep, and they get rid of the Spring Breeze, like I thought. Okay. So, there's a couple of things I can do here. What I'll do is I'm gonna play Trip on Vanguard. And then I'm gonna play Spring Breeze and try to push for 2 damage here. Spring Breeze, my bad. Vivian, and try to push for 2 damage here. And hopefully I can refund that Counter Blast for Azel later. And then I'll use Vivian's skill. And I get an Azel, which is really sick. They're 13k, so I'm just gonna put this Azel in the back for later. And I have this Palinor just kind of sitting in my hand. It's not really doing anything. And I don't have PGs. So I'm going to use Sagramore here and get rid of this Palinor since I already have an Azel on the board. I'm going to use this Trip first. Yeah, we're going to get rid of the Palinor. Okay. It's a little disappointing. And so they probably play self-damagers anyway, so I'm just going to keep pushing damage and pushing damage as much as I can. Ooh, Vermilion Kaiser. He had it. I'm not surprised. He drew a ton this last turn, so... You know, of course, if he pushes me to limit break, that's totally fine. I would just, hopefully, he can push one more damage. Okay, so he can. Nothing great. And I whiff a PG here, which never feels good, but that's okay. Get a Gareth, which is a great booster. And I'm already at 3 damage here. So there's a couple of things I can do. Oops, didn't mean to skip that. So play this here. I'll play this booster here. Yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll play the self-damager here. But I'm gonna keep the counterblast. He's definitely gonna push me, and if not, I still have the resources. I'm gonna go for a multi-attack kind of turn. So I'm gonna push with this Azel here. And because I know I'm gonna push him to limit break, I just want to push as much damage as possible right now. I'm gonna push with the Vivian now. He goes to 16, and Vivian high rolling. I get a PG. Not optimal, but that's fine, I guess. I'll retire the Azel. Looks like someone has a bad connection. And then I'll push with this Azel. Lopier. And another Lopier shooter. I can push on the 5. Puts me in a very comfortable spot. Probably still can't kill me, so I definitely need to get rid of this Azel. I'm not getting anything. And this column misses, but that's fine. And then it's their turn. I'm definitely nervous with my opponent going into this turn because I don't have PGs in my hand. And I've already gone through 2 of them. And this is kind of the thing. It's in general 0, but if you're unlucky, you just don't win at all. And I've played other card games, so you do experience in other card games, but because 0 lacks so much defensively, it's just moments like this where I could have drawn into a PG, I could not have, and sometimes that decides the game. They're taking their sweet time. Oh boy. So they're just gonna go to their main phase. He's got 4 counterblast open, so this is definitely gonna hurt like a lot. Even if he doesn't use Vermilion Kaiser's skill here, which I probably wouldn't if I was him. Wow, yeah, he's definitely hitting columns, so this might be it for my gold Paladins. Yep. I'm definitely gonna feel this one. So, PG. You hate to see it. No trigger. So if I get a trigger here, I can... There we go. So I don't die, which means I can really come back this next turn. Since he can't hit me. I got really lucky with the trigger there. So our opponent's probably a little upset right now. But that's okay. It happens. Welcome to 0. Definitely gonna keep up the Vivian, and I finally get my PG. Very exciting. So I'm gonna go ahead and activate Azel's skill once. I don't really need much of anything. So I'm just gonna play this Balmains on this column here. And I could call more. I don't know how many PGs my opponent has. And I've only have... How many Pelennor? I only have one Pelennor. So I could try to dig for the Pelennor, but I also have a ton of crit left in the deck. So I'm just gonna swing here. And I won't be using Vivian's skill, but that's okay. Perfect guard. And then we're gonna go for attack 2. Does he actually have enough perfect guards? Well. Yep. I get a crit anyways. So, yep. He probably has a perfect guard though. Double crit. You hate to see it. Those could have been heals. And the attack goes through. Let's go. And yep, I'm able to take the one there.